My name is Marisa Churchill,
My name is Elise Kova, author of Dragon Cursed, Arcana Academy, A Deal with the Elf King, and so much more.
and you're listening to The Incoherent Fangirl.
And you are listening to the Incoherent Fangirl podcast.
Welcome to the Incoherent Fangirl.
We're a little discombobulated because we both had quite full weekends.
Yes, very busy girls. I forgot again. Did I? It's my turn now.
You have to speak.
I'm Mandy of Love Y'all.
And I'm Karen from Love Like Con.
We
Welcome back
can't
to
tell
the
you because
podcast.
we got a double episode
but we'll
all
talk about
about
it
this
next
week.
time.
We'll talk about it next week, but you know where we were.
Yes, and it was amazing, glorious, wonderful.
Yeah.
And you'll get all the details next week.
Yes.
Okay, in our timeline, it is February 19th. 11 years ago today, I was supposed to be in labor on this day, but my daughter decided she was going to come early. Anyways, but in y'all's timeline, it is February 27th. What?
That's crazy.
Okay, seriously, I don't understand
Crazy.
time because how is January 11 years long and February has been
2
2
minutes.
seconds? Yeah.
don't
I'm
know.
so confused.
I don't know.
Time is weird. Very weird.
Not a fan.
But here we are.
Not a fan.
Here we are. All the children in our lives have had birthdays and gotten older.
Today is the twins' bestie's birthday today for us. And
Oh
that
my
makes me
goodness.
sad too because I watched that child grow up.
Oh my goodness gracious. I can't. These,
I like
these babies got to stop. They got to stop.
Yeah.
They just got to. But they
Agree.
won't. Oh well. 'Tis life. That sound means we have an intruder alert.
Whoop, whoop.
I'm so excited. Today we are talking to Marisa Churchill. We're going to talk about secret spells and chocolate, among
And
other
this
things.
And this cover.
And we also, this cover,
This is very true. Yep.
it's so lucky. Hi,
I love
Marisa.
it.
Insane.
We all have different versions of the book here today, apparently. So I'm all bundled
Oh.
up because I have been busy making chocolate books in my house this week. Yes. And chocolate, of course, doesn't like heat. I like heat, but the chocolate does not.
Oh
So I've been keeping
my
my
That
God.
is so cute.
So I'm coming over when?
Okay, yeah.
When we do?
Yeah,
love
we
it.
gotta catch a
Exactly.
flight
Yeah.
apparently.
Well, look, it takes me 2.5 hours to make 4 of those books. So, Karen, if you want to come over and be my assistant next time, and I will pay you in chocolate, we
I
can
will
work out
be
a
your
deal
sous
because
chef. Whatever you need.
it's a
I will
little
be there.
deflating. I've been raffling these off at the school visits, and I can tell you that kids can demolish them, devour
Oh
them
my
in under 5
God.
minutes. And I'm just gonna look at
I
you.
bet.
Oh,
The
I bet.
one you sent me, I just to say how much I love my husband, I did give him a sliver.
Oh.
Selfless.
That's sweet.
Hashtag selfless.
That's so kind of you.
To be fair, it was a smaller one, so I'm impressed that you shared it. I did not send a
I
whole
was
book. I don't
like,
think the book would
try
survive.
it. And he was like, I was hoping he would be like, nah, I'm not really a chocolate person. And he was like, yeah.
How dare. How dare. You're
Okay.
like, I guess. The ones that I had mint, and my daughter doesn't like mint. So she had like a little.
See,
She
I
like
don't
scraped off
either.
a little
He
bit,
would have taken the
and-
whole thing.
Yeah, she scraped off a
Mint.
tiny bit, and then she was like, "Okay, I'm good." And I was like, "Yes."
Mine was toffee.
Oh, yum.
Mm,
Obsessed.
delicious.
Anyways, that's a lot of chocolate talk. Sorry, listeners. You don't
There's
get
a
The
to
book
reason
is
chocolate
literally
the title of my book. Yeah.
Secret
Yeah.
Spells and Chocolate. Hello.
All right. Well, speaking of the book, Marisa, give us the elevator pitch for anybody who hasn't heard about it.
Okay, so Sylvie Jones is 14 years old, and her dream is to attend her mom's alma mater, Brindle School of Culinary Arts and Magic. Unfortunately, her family name has a horrible stain on it. Sylvie's mom was accused of cheating at the world's greatest and most magical cooking competition, the Golden Whisk. Um, And Sylvie is given the opportunity to redeem her name and get into her mom's school. However, she soon discovers that maybe that opportunity isn't all that it's cracked up to be. And if she really wants to clear her family name and get a fresh start, she's going to have to try to figure out what happened all those years ago.
That's a lot of pressure on a 14-year-old.
Oh, yes. Well, you know,
It's hard enough
teen
being a
years are rough. I
14-year-old.
think we could all relate to that.
Right. So where
I am
did this story come from? What made you want to write it?
Oh my goodness. First of all, I am a chef. I worked in fine dining for over a decade. I was a competitor on Top Chef season 2. I competed multiple times on Food Network Challenge. So part of it was just inspired by those experiences. But I read a lot of fantasy, but I also read a lot of geeky nonfiction food books. And one of them that I was reading was called Knives at Dawn, America's Quest for Culinary Glory at the Bocuse d'Or. So it's the real life story of the Bocuse d'Or. So the Coupe du Monde de la Patisserie, for any of your listeners who are not familiar with these competitions, and the Bocuse d'Or are the two epic throwdowns that happen every other year in France. They happen in Lyon, not in Paris, which is where my competition takes place. But the reason they happen every other year is because chefs trained for 2 years for this 8-hour competition. It is really where the best chefs in the world throw down their knives and their recipes and yeah, duke it out for champion of the world. So as I was reading the book, there was just so much in there that resonated with me and that brought me back to my experiences on Top Chef and Food Network, because whether you're competing at that very top level or you're on a reality show, some of the sentiments are the same. Like, did this person intentionally tamper with my ingredients?
Right.
And
Yeah.
X happened, and I wish I had done Y, and I should have done this instead of that. So as I thought about it more and more, I just thought there's a story here. And then I decided to just kind of look at what was already on the market. And it really became clear to me that people that were writing about food and magic knew the world of writing, but they didn't really know the world of food.
Right.
That made me so determined to write the book because I thought, oh my God, I want people to know about all these cool, weird ingredients. I want them to really know what it feels like to be on a cooking competition and what culinary school feels like. And so, yeah, so writing the book was kind of also like taking a trip down memory lane.
What I would give to be a judge of that competition, any of them, but I can't imagine the stress of any food competition, let alone like this is the gauntlet.
Oh, yeah.
This is the big one.
Well,
2 years?
2 years. Well, I'll tell you. So if you have not looked up, and if you can't remember Coupe du Monde de la Patisserie, just look up World Pastry Cup. It will still come up. The showpieces that they create are insane. But one of the judges is Amaury Guichon, who he is the master of chocolate. He is the total badass of chocolate.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen him? He
The
had
TikTok
a
guy.
show on Netflix. Yes.
Yes.
So that's what it takes. I mean, he doesn't use any metal structures in any of his chocolate pieces. It's
I saw him
insane.
make like a moving watch one
Yeah.
time, and it was like,
Yeah. Even the gears.
It is so wild. It's crazy.
Meanwhile, I tried to make Reese's cups one time, and they were so ugly. And it's like, how does he do that? He made Mickey Mouse.
Right.
Yeah. It's one of the things that I love and hate about chocolate is that it is very finicky. It is the princess of the pastry world. You have to treat it just the right way for it to do what you want. So, which is why I'm in my house wearing a jacket in the middle of the afternoon. Yes, but I will give you guys, I'll give your listeners a little tidbit into something upcoming. So Karen knows that book 2 has already been written, but Amaury is one of the instructors in book 2. He is the
Oh
edible
my
illusions teacher.
gosh.
Ooh,
Yes.
I
That's
love
so
it.
cool.
That is
Yeah,
very
that's
cool.
awesome.
Everything he does is already magical, so
Yeah.
really nobody better.
It really
That's
does feel
fair.
like magic watching him. Like, what do you mean?
I know.
Oh,
So, you talked about being on Top Chef and competing and all of that. Can you tell us anything about what that was like? I know you put I feel like you put that into the book, but like what
Yeah.
was your
it
kind of personal
is so
experience?
fascinating.
Is there anything that like from your personal experience that you also like added into this book that is very real that people wouldn't have thought of from
And be
competition.
as detailed as possible because when I was 8, I was convinced I was going to marry Emeril Lagasse. I watched that much Food Network. So, like,
Love it. Like, Emerald, it's me, your future wife.
I know. And he's like in his 40s and I'm an 8-year-old. It's just like, it's so dreamy the way like his food looks like, oh, a man who
Was it the bam, bam?
Yes.
He's going to be making me those eggs in the morning. Bam, bam. Okay, gosh. So Top Chef. So first of all, I do liken being on Top Chef to selling your soul to the devil. So that's probably, I don't know that that's a good place to start. Now, that said, I do have a blurb from Gail Simmons on the back of my book, and I do keep in touch with several of the chefs that I was on the show with. So I loved all the people. It wasn't that, but and this is something I don't know if I could get in trouble for saying this, but this is the truth. You sign a contract that says that what they show may not be truthful or display you in a fair or flattering light. And that is the case. So the Daily Leak, that is the blog in the book, because I like my food puns, so it's Leeka. That was very much inspired by Top Chef because I wanted something in there that was going to be taking partial truths and twisting them. And I wanted people to react to those because that was the crazy thing too. I mean, I was on season 2, which season 1 was very popular, but it was also the first season. So then the conversation around the show is growing. And then there's this new season. I mean, it was crazy when that season came out. I remember we were in New York for the launch. We were just standing on the street outside a restaurant, myself and the other chefs. People stopped and were screaming in the streets, Top Chef, Top Chef. I mean, they knew who we were just driving by in the cars.
wow.
And they feel very strongly. So, I mean, I got hate mail, and it was funny because, you'd get hate mail about something and you'd be reading this going, well, first of all, gosh, you're writing to me on Thanksgiving Day. So
Oh my
I should be
God.
I don't know who I should be more sorry for here. Should I invite you over for
Right. Are you hungry?
But also you're looking at this going, you're upset about something that didn't actually happen. Like, and you're going, how did
Yeah.
it not actually happen? And I mean, okay, I don't know how much time we have for the whole thing, but the knife in the heart for me was episode 3, which was an ice cream competition. And ice cream is one of my specialties. And the first chef that lived on the East Coast called me, Sam, and he said, hey, have you seen tonight's episode? No, it's messed up. Don't watch it. And then Josie, have you seen it? Don't watch it. I thought, oh my God, what happens? So I ended up, so there were a bunch of chefs that didn't know how to make ice cream. I gave them my recipe because they had helped me in the past too. Like we had one with challenge with snails. I had never cleaned a snail before as a pastry chef. I ended up, so we then got graded by 5-year-olds on the beach, and Dum Dum here didn't change. I couldn't have changed the flavor at that point, but I was in fine dining. So I did this fancy schmancy roasted banana creme fraiche, blah, 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 blah. And I didn't change the name. Like the person who won, the name of his ice cream was Fribble. So yes, brilliant, right? I love it.
Right.
It makes me feel fun. I
For
still
5-year-olds,
I don't remember
yeah.
the name of mine. So in the interview afterwards, they're asking me about that. And I said, I don't think, I'm not upset because they started upset about not winning. And I said, no, it wasn't because of the quality of his ice cream. It was the same recipe as mine. It was my recipe, but he named it Fribble. It's a brilliant move and he deserved to win. So that's what I said. But instead, the chefs just magically knew how to make ice cream. And then at the end, I'm saying, well, I don't think he won on the quality of his ice cream cut. So again, it's like you're taking these half truths. I said that, but there was more that I said.
But yeah.
He deserved to win, not me. So stuff like that. Definitely, those things were on my mind when I was writing the book. And so I thought, how do I use this and put it into the story and make it kind of its own entity? And that's kind of where the Daily Leak came in and kind of the twists.
I love it.
Yes, and how they're kind of playing things out with Sylvie's mom being a cheater at the Golden Whisk.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so you've written cookbooks and you've written a YA fantasy,
Yeah.
or I guess middle grade more so, a
No,
14-year-old.
it's so funny.
It's
It's
like young.
confusing. It's
It's like young
confusing.
YA.
It's a
Yeah,
young
young
YA, but it's like that cusp.
Yeah.
It can go
Yeah.
either way.
So how
Yeah.
does, I mean, obviously I know when you're making a cookbook, you have to cook. But
Yeah.
outside of that, how does the writing process change between writing a cookbook or writing a fiction book, and what stays the same? Like
Oh my
there
God.
has
I don't think anything stays the same. I mean, I like it when asked this question. I always say writing a cookbook is like planting a tree, and writing a novel is like birthing a baby. Blood, sweat, tears,
Oh.
the whole 9 yards. I mean, but I love it. Like, give me. I mean, writing a cookbook for me at least is pretty easy. I mean, especially if you have worked in fine dining for so many years, where your whole job was creating plated desserts and coming up with new recipes and new flavors. Um, so that's always been fun for me. And then taking some recipes and saying, okay, but how do I relate this to the average home cook? How do I simplify this recipe for something that they could do? But writing a novel is totally different. Although I think that I still was able to tap into my experiences as a chef. Although it's funny, I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and they said, okay, yeah, but just because the creative aspects you think are the same, it doesn't mean that you can actually write. That's something that's different. But with desserts, I really think it does make a difference, because when you think about being a pastry chef, it is the most creative part of the kitchen.
yeah.
um, you know, Pastries often have that kind of bit of whimsy to them. We're looking for those elements of surprise. I always felt too that, whether you're writing or you're, taking that first bite of dessert, it has to appeal to you from moment one. I always would cringe when the chef would say, oh, this needs to be eaten a certain way. Well, no,
Mm-mm.
then there's something wrong with the recipe. So yeah, there there were those elements of tapping into the creativity that I loved with this, where, now having two kids, not being in a restaurant anymore, where I'm getting to use that creative energy every day. It was so nice being able to bring that back out and use it in a different way. But
Yeah.
getting to use it to maximum capacity, because there was nothing limiting me there. It wasn't, okay, how much is the food cost going to be for me to create this, amazing idea that I
Yeah.
dessert that I want to do, that is going to have spheres of ice and malt and sculpted chocolate, and I could just do whatever I wanted to do, which I loved. And thinking about all the subplots and putting in all of those layers, that too, I think is similar to how you're building a dessert, where you're thinking about all the different flavors and textures and how that all needs to come together. Um, the one part that was very different that I learned my lesson with, and I did a lot of this on book two that I didn't do on book one, is outlining. Because
Uh-oh.
yeah, I think that is something that is very important. So there was a lot more going back and having to rewrite things in book one versus two.
Mm. As
Yeah.
we are both I don't want to say reformed pantsers, because we still pants most of the time while
I'm
writing.
so ADHD. I'm
Yeah.
trying. I
We're
got a
trying.
plot grid like a week ago, and I'm
Okay.
trying to do it the organized way and make an outline.
Sometimes they
But my
just tell
brain
you
is
something
just
and you have to go with it.
my brain is like, I don't like it. Just write.
I know my brain doesn't like it either, but then the organized pastry part of me says, yes, but we are the organized ones in the kitchen. You like this. And I do
Oh,
like it in the
come,
sense that you
yeah.
then have this idea of where things can go. And even sometimes, like I said, I will get an idea and I just have to write it out.
Mhm.
But then I can go back and I can look and I can say, okay, where is this fitting in? Where does this go? Where is
Mm.
this leading?
I'm gonna start
Yeah.
thinking about outlining like my mise en place, and if Anne Burrell were to watch me,
I
she'd
love
yell at me if I didn't have it.
There you go. I
That
love
might help me. That
There
might
you
help
go.
me. I'm gonna go with that.
Okay. We want to keep you forever, but we cannot. We promised we wouldn't. And I want to switch up because we normally ask about like what books you're reading, which you can tell us, but I would actually love like what's your absolute favorite food? Like if you had to eat one thing for the rest of your life, or like I want to cook this every week. This is my go-to.
Oh my God. That's not a fair one because
To ask a chef, I
that
know.
one. It's so, I mean, what is my favorite food? Really, really, really good sushi, but I'm never going to make really good sushi. What am I going to make? It's going to be the food that I grew up with. This is where we talked about too, what I love about this book and what I love about writing about the diversity in the food world too, is that there nowhere else do you get to kind of taste and feel people's cultural heritage. So for me, it's Greek. So when I'm cooking, it's like the Greek village peasant food that I grew up cooking that my grandmother used to always make. It's like braised cauliflower with cinnamon and
Oh,
tomato and peas and just simple dishes like that. So
I'm gonna start
mm,
drooling. I haven't
yeah.
eaten yet tonight, and
I
it's like
know.
7:40. So,
but I am a chocolate girl too, so don't ask me to give up my chocolate.
Oh, never.
oh, okay. I asked my husband and nieces this one the other day.
Yes.
If you had to give up, you have to give up two, but you can keep one. You can never eat the two you give up again. Bread and pasta, cheese, or chocolate.
Oh my
I
God.
got to give up bread.
Oh my
Yeah, I
God.
feel
I
like
can't
for me it
survive
would be
without
the
cheese
bread
or
and I think
chocolate.
it would be for me it would be the bread and pasta.
Yeah.
That's something that I cheese and chocolate. No way I'm giving them up.
No,
No.
you're
Yeah.
not taking my cheese from me.
No, cheese was
And
the
definitely not
one.
my
I
chocolate.
was a vegetarian for several years, and cheese was the one reason why I could never try being vegan because I
No,
can't. I
no.
can't. Kudos to
Mm-mm.
people who can, but cheese is everything to me.
I don't even know if kudos. I mean, have you had vegan cheese? No,
I
it's
mean, they're
not
doing it.
good.
They're doing something with their life. They're enjoying life still, I suppose.
Ugh,
So
I hope
couldn't be
they're
me.
shivers.
great.
Couldn't be me.
Life's
Okay.
too short to eat vegan cheese, people.
Exactly. I
I'm
commend
sorry
you.
if you're
You're
vegan. I
stronger than
apologize
me.
if I offended you. Not
No,
trying
Yeah,
to. Just
they're
saying.
just
you're stronger than we are. We
yeah.
can't do it.
We couldn't.
Go, bestie, go.
Okay, so the other question that we always ask is, so we have this segment on the podcast that we call Fictional Boyfriend of the Week, where we pick like a fictional character that we really love, we're really vibing with. It doesn't necessarily have to be a boyfriend. I've had a fictional granny. Mandy's had a fictional son. We've had fictional pets. Are there any characters from fiction across whatever medium that you're just
What
like,
have I ever read a
yes,
book? What's a
right?
movie?
What
This is where
what
your
is any
brain
of this
goes.
stuff? Who are these people?
So wait, so is there any fictional character that what? Tell me that
That
last.
you're just vibing with. You're like, everybody should meet this person. I love them so much. I want to be their best friend. That's the love of my life. Like any kind of vibes.
Well, so it has to be a fictional character because there is somebody from a book, but he's not fictional.
No, yeah, you can
We
tell
will
us that.
accept this.
Okay, I am dying to meet Merlin. What is his last name though? Is it Merlin? Merlin Sheldrake. There we go. Thank you. I can never remember the last name. Merlin Sheldrake, who wrote Entangled Life. He is a mycologist specialist,
Oh.
and it's literally I want to meet him. I've gone to his page. So if anybody has any contacts out there, it only leads to his literary agent. And then I think, well, is that weird if I write to him and say, okay, I'd love to talk to you. I'm a chef. I write about food and fantasy, and I want to talk to you about mushrooms. Reading your books is not enough for me. I want to hear it direct from the horse's mouth. And I'm so bummed because he was in Berkeley not too long ago, and I missed him.
Oh
I
no.
know.
That's so
I
close.
know, and I do follow him, so I think I need to be better about actually stalking him. If my
That's fair.
husband listens to this, hopefully he's with the Lord. But I
We are
I
a
forgot if I went on his page more. Maybe if I was on his feed more, this would have come up in my feed. I don't know. I'm not familiar with all those algorithms and how
Yeah.
things pop up or don't pop up. But yes,
no clue. No clue. We just vibe.
yes.
All right, last question, and then we're gonna let you go. Is there anything you can tell us about book 2? I know you've mentioned it, so
Okay, so what else can I tell you about book 2? So there are some more mushrooms in it, which is another reason I want to speak to Merlin Sheldrake.
it's
Uh,
research. DM.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. But it will not be called Secret Spells and Mushrooms. I promise that. I'm not going to be like, instead of a chocolate book, I'm doing shiitake mushrooms.
A chocolate
No.
covered mushroom.
Yes, yeah, no, nothing like that. I'm also going to be digging deeper into both spices which are very fascinating. I've been geeking out learning about the history of spices, but also looping kind of back into the whole culinary competition thing a little bit, even though it's at a different angle. Sugar pulling. So sugar pulling is so chocolate is one part of the culinary competitions, but another one is sugar. And in Asia, it is insane. There's some of the best sugar pullers and sugar blowers in the world. Um, and one of the characters in the book, who was a real character, is Maggie Lung, who was a very good friend of mine, who was a pastry chef. Unfortunately, she passed away.
Oh.
Um, but she was so good with sugar too. And so it kind of all looped together very nicely and kind of highlighting what they can do with sugar in Asia. And it's crazy.
I'm so
Oh, I
excited.
can't wait. I'm so excited.
Yes.
I'm
Well,
gonna binge eat the whole time, but
yeah, I know.
binge eat sweets
So next
Okay,
and
time I
well,
think
mushrooms.
I might have burns all over my hands.
okay, friends, Secrets, Spells, and Chocolate is out now. You can go pick up a copy wherever you love to get your
Have
books
sweets
and have
on
sweets on
hand.
hand because you will want to have them. Um, it's and God, we didn't get to talk about the cover, but the cover.
Yes.
I'm
And there's
page
recipes in the back. So if you don't have sweets on hand,
Yes,
make them
make
from the
your
recipes in the
own.
book.
I can't wait. I'm
Ah.
so excited. Thank you so much, Marisa, for doing this. This has been a blast, and we can't wait. Oh, wait, we do have to
Oh,
give you some bad
bad
news,
news.
actually. We do have some
Uh-oh.
bad news.
Ooh,
It
what?
actually, now that you have been on the podcast, you're actually legally obligated to come back for all future book releases.
Okay, I love
So,
that.
so sorry.
More
You're
time
gonna
to
have
hang
to
out
come
with you guys.
back.
God
My only
forbid
complaint is,
we
can't
can
we do
spend
this in
time.
person and I bring baked goods? I know that's
I'm
Yeah?
here. Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Let me
we
fly there
should.
real quick.
Yeah, we should do that
Next time
because
you'll be telling us all about what Merlin told you. Merlin?
yes.
Merlin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Merlin. I
Yeah.
know we get the
Yeah.
name. That's fun,
Yeah,
right?
that's what's gonna happen. We're manifesting it. You guys are gonna meet, you're gonna have a whole conversation,
And
and
then you're gonna
then
fill us in.
I love
yes.
it. I love it. Okay. Perfect. You
Amazing.
live in the UK. Wait, I'm going to Greece this summer. Can I get to the
Mm,
UK?
Just hop there. Yeah.
You can do it. You can do
Okay.
it. All right. Thank you so much, Marisa. It has been
Thank
so
you
much fun.
so
We will talk
much.
soon.
Thank you for having me on. It was great.
We
Bye.
had so much
Bye.
fun. Bye. She's so freaking beautiful. I mean, I know I saw it
I know.
in her author
Yeah.
photo, but
I love
love
her
her.
so much.
love
I
her.
love
Love
her.
her chocolate. Love her whole vibe.
I'm
She's a whole
just
vibe.
I'm just gonna Can you excuse me? I have to go
Yeah, let's
drive
take a
to her
break and
house.
go eat.
I'm like, I gotta go
Some
drive.
food.
Steal
Yeah.
some chocolate from her house.
Steal a book and send me one
Okay.
when she's not
Will do.
looking. Okay.
That sound means we have another intruder.
Yay! We're so
Oh, we're so excited.
excited.
We have Elise Kova. We're going to talk about Dragon Curse today. Thank you so much for being here, Elise.
I am so excited to be here. Intruder, intruder. Quick, everyone roll for initiative.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. All right, my dear. The first thing we always ask is, can you please give us the elevator pitch of the book for anybody who has not heard of it? It's the hardest question for all authors.
It really is. I'm getting a little bit better. It's funny because it's like, you know how recently a book has released by how much an author stumbles over the elevator pitch.
Yes,
So
it's so
I'm
true.
getting a little bit better. Great start. I am just knocking this out of the park out the gate. Dragon Cursed is set in a world that is dying. Magic is dying. Nature is dying. It is plagued by an blight that no one knows where it comes from. And the closest thing that everyone seems to think is the origin are the dragons, which are attacking humanity's last surviving city, Vingard. Asola, our main character, she lives in Vingard, and when she was 12, she killed a dragon with a magic thought long to be extinct. Because of this, the leaders of Vingard, the Creed, run by the Vicar, claimed her as Valor Reborn, a legendary hero come back to life to save them all. Except Asola is pretty sure that she is not Valor Reborn, and she is in fact dragon cursed to turn into one of the beasts that are terrorizing the city. To find out if she is or not, she and all other 18-year-olds of Vingard must go through the tribunal to find out if they are dragon cursed or not. So she enters with her best friend Sypha and the son of the vicar, whom she starts out really not being a fan of, and enters into the tribunal. And begins to dismantle the lies and secrets that prop up Vingard as she knows it.
That was
So
so
good.
good. So one of the first notes I took when I started reading this book was how much I loved like how you go into so many different relationships. You had besties, you had like a quirky kind of, I don't know how to describe her mom and her child. Um that's my bestie's dad. I have to have like a weird conversation with, to my dad and his new wife and her kids. What's it like trying to world build such nuanced relationships and bring the reader up to speed on like years of, I see this person every day. This is my best friend's dad. I see him all the time. And like explaining these dynamic relationships in such a way that it makes us like, oh yeah, of course. That's her, that's her dad and stepmom.
I think the biggest thing for me is to make it feel authentic on the page as much as I can, and like without the reader getting lost. But, Asola isn't going to walk up to her best friend's dad and think to herself, that is Saifa's father, my best friend's father. And
Right,
I have
yeah.
seen him every day. It needs to feel kind of that authentic. And the things she notices about him are going to inform the reader about that relationship, but hopefully in a way that feels like things that she would actually know of. And it was one thing that I really wanted to have all of these relationships surrounding Asola at the start of the book because, and I've been totally guilty of this, but there is a epidemic in young adult literature of the dead parents. And, everyone is like, well, if the parents are there, they would tell their kids not to do these things. And so I really wanted to have the parents be there, but I wanted to also illustrate, different relationships that you see. It is not the quote unquote picture perfect family relationship that one would expect of this very nuclear family that's
It's
happy
real.
and
Yeah.
It's a real
yeah.
family though. It's what real families look like.
Exactly, exactly. And that's really what I wanted to try and capture on the page. In addition to all these other relationships, I wanted Guard to feel like a world that was lived in.
Mhm.
You did an excellent job to the point that like I literally wrote down like this is so good and so well done. So like
Yeah.
Thank you.
excellent work.
I'd love to know where the inspiration from this story came from. I feel like a lot of us as fantasy readers are like, "Ooh, dragons. Dragons are great," but you kind of made them, quote unquote, the villains in a sense, kind of. I'm trying to be spoiler free.
It's so hard. It's so hard. No, I grew up with a lot of kind of more terrifying dragons. When I look back, I really saw dragons more as the antagonist than as the friends and the besties. I kind of skipped over the Aragon era and lived in my Smaug era for a really long time. And I started playing Dungeons and Dragons back in 2E for the super nerds out there when I was itty bitty, just being a menace at my sister and her friends' table. And I'm still a dungeon master now. And so when I think of dragons, I think of them in the context of like, okay, this is a CR 15, and how do I make it absolutely wreck my party's day? So that kind of was the energy that I'm bringing into this story. And then of course the other thing is, as an author, we look around and we see kind of what's going on in the publishing landscape. And there are a lot of books out there by really talented authors that are the friendly dragon or at least the ally dragon.
Yeah.
And it was one of those moments where I was like, I don't think I have anything to contribute to that area of dragon lore right now that isn't already being done by authors who are way more talented than I am. So, where is kind of my niche? And as I was sort of thinking about that and sitting with that and thinking like, where are the terrifying dragons? Like where are the dragons that I
Yeah.
grew up with? The scary fire breathing terrors. And I was also thinking like I draw a lot of inspiration from anime and video games. And one of my initial inspirations for the book, kind of going to that part of the question, was I was really inspired. I love the works of Hayao Miyazaki, and he works with Studio Ghibli. and or is like one of the founders. I shouldn't say work with. He basically founded the studio. And one of his films, or what I like about his filmography, is a lot of his films focus on the relationship of man versus nature.
Mhm.
And I think that that's a really interesting dynamic that I really wanted to explore, where it's less about having a singular villain and more about having a set of circumstances that brings both the good and evil out in people. And that was
Mhm.
sort of what I was thinking of with the Scourge. I was thinking about with Nausicaa, the Valley of the Wind really inspired me. There's a scene toward the end of that movie where she's kind of like floating on this field of light. And, you know, that scene was in my head, but I was thinking of like dragons and dragon wings. And then I was also inspired by Attack on Titan, and kind of
Mhm.
all this came together of like Attack on Titan, but dragons, and you know all these other different things that sort of merged in my head when thinking of this book.
You just like not rewrote but like explained my life history to me because I am like a dragons girly. I have a tattoo that's like dragons flying out of a book and everybody's always like, oh, is that Fourth Wing? And I'm like, but it's Aragon and it's like it's like it's a lot of different dragons. I never really thought about the fact that there's Smaugs out there too. Like I didn't
Yeah.
skip Aragon, so it was the friendly dragon. I want a dragon. Maybe you don't want a dragon. Maybe we don't.
Yeah, maybe the dragon is just like big scary monster to the max. You know, I it was funny. I
Yeah.
was talking with some of my friends today. I won't go too far on a tangent, but I was talking about how alligators actually inspired, because I live in Florida, and how alligators
Yeah.
actually inspired the dragons in this book. There's a line where Isola is saying, and it's to the start of the book, where she talks about how the dragons hiss, and alligators actually
I thought
hiss,
about that. Yeah.
and like they
I'm in
open their
Georgia,
mouths
so
and they have this. Okay,
yeah.
okay, so
Yeah.
you know what's
Yeah.
up. And I'm like, that's kind of where that came from. I'm like, I want them to be scary monsters
Yeah.
I
Like the
love
dragons will
it.
eat you. They will eat you.
and feel nothing about it.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. Except full.
Yes.
So the whole time I was reading this book, I was also seeing things on social media that were like that twist, that twist. There were so many.
Yeah.
What? Which one? Did you know going in where everyone would end up, or did your characters like surprise you along the way as you were writing or outlining or prepping?
Yeah, I knew where most of the people would end up, and they all kind of ended up there. I will say there was one character death, which I feel like is a spoiler that there's multiple character deaths, but there was one character death that came I will say it is the first major character death.
Yep.
So
Mm.
Mm.
without having that there's a funeral for it. There we go. That's my
Yep.
no
Mm, mhm,
spoilers
mhm.
The way
explanation. You'll
my
know, you know.
guts fell on the floor.
I
Okay.
was unwell.
No.
Unwell.
Why are you
I
doing this?
that one didn't come in until later. Like that was one of those, and I think part of what it was is I have this thing where I'm like, I want to honor the characters that I write, and I knew that character wouldn't make it very long in book two, and I was like, I want to have that death be on the page.
Mean
And
something.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, so that was one that surprised me, but all of them kind of ended up where I thought they would. The big ones that didn't, or not that didn't, but in editing, a lot changed of how they got there. Asola's mother was really active in the second half of my initial draft, and it was a call made in editing that the presence of her mother was kind of taking away Isola's autonomy and some of the driving momentum that the book had. And so she sort of exits stage left. I won't say why or how because spoilers. But she sort of exits stage left the narrative much earlier than in my original draft. But she still gets to the same place.
Yeah. Okay.
Speaking of like twists and turns, your publishing career has kind of taken some twists and turns as well. Can you kind of give us, I guess, give us a quick peek at how you started, how you ended up here, kind of what that journey was like? Because I was reading up on your website and I'm like, I love everything about this, but there was quite a lot that you went through, and it's been
Yeah.
10 years.
It has. Last year was my 10-year anniversary of becoming a published author. I've been working on my books longer than that. I think I'm almost at 15 years if we go by just shy of if we go by when I actually started writing the first book. But I didn't intend to be an author. I kind of whoopsied my way into it, which is kind of weird to say, but I got really inspired by the movie Thor. We are back in circa 2012, and I was thinking about writing a fan fiction of that movie, and this was pre the days of fan fiction getting picked up, and I knew that I was going to write way too many words for something that could never be published. So I stopped myself and I went, do I want to write a Loki Thor fan fiction, or do I just want to write a story about an impossibly attractive dark-haired man? And I realized it was more the
Facts. That man
impossibly
is so fine.
attractive dark-haired man that I was drawn to, less Thor and Loki and more just the idea of that. So I wrote what ended up becoming Air Awakens. I wrote all 5 books in the span of the year. I'm pretty sure it was a fugue state for 12 months. And then I decided, okay, I have these books, I should publish them. I published them a chapter a day on Fiction Press. I got like a decent following, not like a crazy following, but a decent following. And I was like, all right, well, I'll query. I queried 111 agents. I was rejected by all of them. I independently published Air Awakens. That the 5th book in that ends up hitting USA Today. That kind of launches my career. I worked with a small press for my Loom Saga. That was my sophomore series. I'm still independent publishing on the side. I go back to fully independent publishing for a couple years. And then ultimately in 2020, what would have been 3, 4? I end up getting picked up by Del Rey first, and then Entangled Mayhem, which is who Dragon Cursed is from. And I'm very happily hybrid now. I still have most of my backlist is independently published, and I'm very happy about that. And I'm very happy to work with the publishers that I work with.
I love that.
Yeah.
And that shows like indie authors that like you can do both.
Yeah.
And they can both be successful. TradPub is not the end all be all.
Right.
Yeah,
And
I tell people constantly, I'm like, they're both valid, and some things make more sense for certain authors and certain books. Like
Yeah.
they both have their pros and cons.
Yeah.
I love it.
Speaking of your website, your FAQ section has genuinely incredible information for aspiring authors,
Mhm.
including your average writing timeline broken out by tasks, advice. It's like incredible. Okay. What made you want to do that for future authors and like take such like I know a lot of time went into writing that
Yeah.
out.
I think it's a combination of there's the altruistic, I'm going to make myself sound good for a second. That is I do like helping people. I do like trying to help other authors. I don't have as much time to do it as I wish I did. I used to be really diligent with this writing and publishing tips newsletter that I had and sending it out every month. And I've gotten so behind the past 6 months with like deadlines that just piled up back to back. Um, but I really do hope it helps someone. But on the flip side, it's also just convenient for me as an author. Like it's one thing that I recommend other authors do if you have the time to slowly piecemeal it together, because you get asked a lot of questions. And I think it helps readers too, because if they come to me with questions, it's almost like here are the genuine FAQ, the genuinely frequently asked questions. And you can ask me, maybe if you're only going to be able to catch 5 minutes with me, you can ask me a deeper question that is beyond kind of that generic surface level and really make the most of your time.
Right. Well, it's a
I've never-
wonderful
yeah.
thing to have done
I've never
with
thought
two
about
aspiring
it like that.
authors. That
Yeah.
like, it's incredible.
Yeah, I
Incredible.
spent a lot of time reading up on your website. Just like it started as like interview prep, and then it was like, no, I just might live here for a minute.
Stay here, yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the art design of the book, like the cover, the edges, the chapter headings, all of that, as someone who, you had complete creative control while you were Indie Pub, and now, you're transitioning to this hybrid model where you have to share some of that control with a trad pub. What is that like? What was that experience for you?
Yeah, I think it really varies book to book and publisher to publisher. And, I say that as a little bit of a disclaimer for anyone kind of looking into this path for themselves of my experience. Your experience will vary from mine, basically. But for Dragon Cursed, the team at Mayhem is lovely to work with. But I think the thing that surprised me the most was that they just kind of knocked it out of the park on like the first try. And so, it's one of those things where they showed me the cover And the only thought I had about the cover, because they showed the concept to me quite early and I loved it, but my only thought was I was like, there are no swords in the book. Like we're fighting dragons. So that I was like, okay, that kind of was what led me to think about I had, these mercy daggers that were in the book, and that kind of had led me to kind of think about, okay, maybe I could just drop a little bit of explanation to make the cover tie in. But I do love that, and that's happened before with my indie stuff where I commission covers before the book is fully finished, and then the artist throws something in that I'm like, okay, I think I can make that
Yeah, I
tie
can work
in
with
without
that.
changing
That's
anything.
fun.
Because I do love it when the cover really, really ties in. But I have to say, the edges are gorgeous, the cover is gorgeous, the end papers are gorgeous. But I think the biggest thing for me is that map of Vingard that I think the digital editions have too. I know that the physical editions have, because that map is just insane.
Hmm.
It's so insane.
It's so detailed. It's so pretty. And I sent like a description and this really terrible drawing. And that was like almost identical to what's published was what I got sent back. And I was like, how did you get into my brain?
How did you say wizard?
Oh, I love it. It never occurred to me how the kind of art design, the covers and things like that could be part of the creative process for writing. Like you were talking about how you had to kind of go into the
Tweak
mercy
something.
daggers and all of that and tweak some stuff. And I thought that's kind of cool. Like it's such a collaborative process, and I love that.
Yeah, it doesn't happen all of the time or anything like that, but it's one of those, you get handed something and you go, this is cool enough. And I have something, like I said,
Yeah.
if it was something that I went, I have no way to work this in, like if they gave me a cover, I'm just saying something ridiculous now, but like with a unicorn on it, I would of course go back and I would be like,
You're like,
I can't do anything with
What do you
this.
mean?
Not so
They're
much.
dragons.
But something where I'm like, okay, I already have daggers that play a substantial role. Let me tie
Yeah.
this into the cover.
I love
That's
it.
awesome. Okay, we want to keep you forever, but we said that we wouldn't. So we just have a few questions that we always ask our guests.
Okay.
This is the moment where every bit of media you've ever consumed leaves your brain.
I'm ready.
So we have a segment on the podcast that we call Fictional Boyfriend of the Week, where we pick a fictional character that we've really vibed with that week. It doesn't have to be a boyfriend. Karen's had a fictional granny. I've had a fictional son. Loki has been my fictional boyfriend.
I mean, a fabulous choice. An absolutely fabulous choice.
But do you have any fictional characters in any type of media where you're like, that is my boo thing, that is my best friend, everybody should know about this character?
Um,
You're like, have I ever
And
seen
now
a
it's like,
movie?
what's a
I don't
book?
know.
yeah, like
what
have
are-
I ever I'll say this because I don't know why he's coming back up on my FYP on TikTok, but Roy Mustang is sneaking back into my FYP from Full Metal Alchemist,
Yeah.
and I definitely was a Roy Mustang fangirl. He was absolutely a book boyfriend or not a book boyfriend, well, I guess manga, but definitely a fictional boyfriend for a hot minute, pun intended, if you understand his magic. So I'll say him, and then I'll also say Anthony from Bridgerton, because I want to watch the latest season, and his
Yeah.
and Kate's season was just it was
It's
so
unparalleled.
good. It was
It's
so good.
unparalleled. I thought
and-
Benedict was going to steal me from Anthony. He is not.
No,
No.
it really, like, every time they come on the screen, I'm like, you're it. But the thing is that I almost feel weird like calling him a fictional boyfriend, because I'm like, you're not meant for me, and that's okay. Like, I'll
No,
admire
they're
you from
fictional couple.
afar. They're a
Yeah.
fictional couple.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I just am gonna
She's
admire
so
their
beautiful it
perfection.
hurts.
Oh,
He's so
gosh.
beautiful, but she is so beautiful that like I could cry watching Bridgerton just looking at her face.
She is a woman who makes me understand those bars where you pay to have a woman slap you across the face. Like,
Yes,
like that would
yes.
be, if
Step
she
on
was
me.
behind the bar, I would be like, absolutely, thank you.
Do whatever you want. I don't care. You're just so beautiful.
I love it. Okay, one of the other questions that we always ask. So we know we love your books and we will be recommending those. However, we would love to know what you are reading, what you are recommending. Do you have any kind of like all-time favorites you want to share? Anything like that?
Okay. I always recommend Danielle Jensen's books because she's fabulous. Her books are
Mhm.
fabulous. Full disclaimer,
Yes.
I'm biased. She's a really good friend of mine, but her books are also really good. Go read The Bridge
Yes.
Kingdom and Saga of the Unfated.
Yes.
Coming up, because one of the privileges you have as being an author is you do get your hands on a lot of arcs to read early, for blurbs and the like. And a couple of books that I've blurbed that I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed Sarah Kale Wilson's The Trident and the Pearl. That comes out, I think, in like a week. So that's very soon. A week as of recording, end of February 2026. For those of you who are not live with us right now. Um, there's also, oh my goodness, I'm forgetting their name, and I feel, hold on, I'm gonna look it up because I'm so bad with names. I have lizard brain with
I
names
do
because
too.
I
Yeah.
always say that like I have so many fictional names,
Yeah.
that I'm like none of the real names stick.
You've got all these
Um,
characters talking to you in your head at all
Yeah,
times.
all the
Like, it's
time.
valid. It's
yes.
valid.
Okay, so I was right. Cassidy Ellis Salter. I'm probably saying their name wrong. But they have a book coming out in March called These Shattered Spires, and oh my gosh, I
I've been
loved that
seeing
book
that.
so
Yeah.
much. It is, I think the biggest thing that I loved about that book was the concept is so cool. The world is so well wrought, but I think the thing that I loved so much about it was every character is messy. Like like in a disaster gay kind of way that you're just like,
That
oh,
is
I
the
love all of
best.
you.
But what are
Um,
you doing?
That is
but what are you
everything.
doing? But don't stop because I this is like catnip for me.
Yes.
Um, no, that book was fabulous. And then right now I'm reading Tempest by Victoria Aveyard, and I'm really enjoying it. I
Karen,
know.
we got to send an email.
The
We don't
way
need to
that,
ask if it's too early. We're going to go ahead and send an email. See if we can get her back.
yeah. The moment she posted that she got her like early copies, and I was like, Victoria, you said you'd come back to the
Please.
podcast. Please, can we have it?
It was honestly one of those. I caught her in the air, like in the airport coming back from Y'all Fest, and I was so not chill about it. I was like, "Hey, you have a book coming out. Can I get a copy?" Like,
I
she was like,
love it.
"Absolutely. I'll talk with my editor and agent." And I was like, "Thank you."
Oh, I love
Amazing. I love
that.
it.
Okay, last question. What comes next? Can you tell us anything about what's coming in your future?
Yeah, I have a lot of books coming out this year because I have all five of my Married to Magic books are getting re-released. Those are standalone romanticises. They are in a shared world, but they can be read in any order. They're getting beautiful new covers and will have wide paperback distribution for the first time. So that's really exciting. I have the second book in my World of Arcana Academy that is out in July. And then, of course, I'm also working on the second and final book in the Dragon Curse duology. And I don't have, I say ideally, I would like to see it come out around a year after the first book, but until there is a release date announced and set, and even then, not always, um, nothing is guaranteed. So I am hoping that we see it around a year after the first one, but if it is a little bit longer, please don't hate me.
We could never.
never.
We could never.
But Karen has
We
bad
do.
news
Yeah,
to
we
tell
do
you
have a little
actually
bit of bad
after all
news,
these
though.
books.
Yeah. So now that you have been on the podcast, you're actually legally obligated to come back for future book releases.
Oh no.
Sorry.
Oh
Should have
no,
read the
twist
fine
my
print.
arm.
Yeah. So sorry.
Well, I think we can definitely swing that. Catch me in July or early August after
Right.
Prince of Swords.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Dragon Cursed is out now. I believe that we're still on the first printing, so it still has the pretty edges. I haven't
I
seen
believe so.
I don't know, but you
Run just in
run it
case.
just in case. You never know. Go pick up a copy. It's so good, and that
It's so
ending is
good.
gonna make you be like, Elise, Elise,
Why?
just like sneaking up. Well, Elise.
Why'd you do that?
But thank you so much for doing this, talking to us. This has been so much
It's
fun.
been so much fun.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you to everyone for listening and for reading, whether it's my book or another author's. Your support means the world. So thank you all.
Yay. right. We will talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Fingers
Hopefully.
crossed.
Take care.
Bye. Thank you.
Oh, I love her.
Oh my gosh. She's one of us. One of us.
One of us.
And I need
love
her to do an audiobook. That
Right?
voice.
That
Ah.
was, oh my God. I love her.
love.
Love.
Everybody
I'm
go get
also
Dragon Cursed.
wildly so jealous. I'm like, what do you mean you're reading Tempest?
I know. We don't need
Girl.
to ask if it's too early. They'll tell
No,
us when
we're
we
going.
email.
I'm seeing Victoria next week. I'm like, girl, what are
Ask
we
her
doing?
We need to email her publicist too, though.
Yeah.
What if her
yeah.
publicist is like, I'll send them out tomorrow.
Right. I'm like,
We don't have to wait a week.
let's take care of this. Because yes, please.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, that was so cool. I love it. Yay.
What an episode.
Right. Time for some announcements.
Yeah.
Or an announcement.
An
announcement.
We're back
A singular
to one announcement.
It's back to one. It's back to one. We're getting back into the groove, I think, of just regular.
Yes.
So next week we are talking to my very good friend Laura Taylor Namey. We're going to talk about If We Never End.
The post
so
office
excited.
stole my copy.
I know we don't know where hers went, but I've got
Yeah.
one. See, and she's real pretty. So I'm really excited. We're going to talk to Laura next week. She's really excited. I just saw her and she was like, I can't wait. I'm like, me too. So it's going to be a good time. I'm also prepared to cry because I just feel like this book is You've Reached Sam meets If I Stay. And that just
I don't like that.
sounds
I'm
like
gonna love it, but I don't like
I'm
it
gonna
right
cry.
now.
I'm gonna cry. I'm prepared to cry. So if I
How do I
got
make it
some,
rain for Patreon?
I think it's double. Yep. Oh, it's
That's how we're gonna
isolated now.
feel.
It used to be the whole screen. Hi, Georgie. So that will be next week. We will have some red eyes from crying, probably.
yes. Yes.
Good
Yes.
times.
Yes.
Okay, and now it is time for the spiel. That's where we're at,
The
right?
spiel already.
Yay. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, follow, and subscribe wherever you are listening to us. Follow us on social media. We are at The Incoherent Fangirl on all the things. Visit our website, theincoherentfangirl.com, where you can also stream all of our episodes as well as read our blog. Head to Patreon to subscribe for early access to podcast episodes, full video episodes, bonus content, and the opportunity to ask questions of our guests, which is always fun. It's one of my favorite parts of like book tours. So
Fun
yay.
fact, I had a dream last night where we booked a double episode with Victoria Aveyard and Rebecca Yaros, and you were adamant that we only take Patreon questions. And I was like, Karen, I have questions too. And then
I
woke up.
I would ban Patreon questions if that was what was
I
happening.
know.
For Victoria
so
Aveyard and
weird.
Rebecca Yaros. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I would ask I would throw you out and ask all the questions myself.
Right? I was like, what? Like, we weren't like fighting, but I was like, why
No.
is she so like, I get
That
we
is
want some Patreon questions, but
No, that's so funny.
ask some too.
That's so funny. But also manifesting.
Also, they were in person.
Victoria Aveyard and Rebecca Yaros. Okay.
Yeah.
And we're just saying. I mean, there's
Year of the
advanced
snake is
copies
over.
there's advanced copies of Tempest out right now, and I'm about to see Victoria next week. So I'm gonna be like, girlfriend, is it
Yeah.
too soon to like
Reach out to
schedule
your
some
agent.
press?
We still remember her.
So anyways, I don't even know where I was. Questions. You can ask our guest
Yeah.
questions. Join us on Patreon and you can do that. You can also support the show by shopping our merch store, theincoherentfangirl.com/shop. Sometimes Mandy gets bored. She makes some cute stuff, which she is currently wearing right now.
Whoa!
Adorable. Fun fact, I saw Lana over the weekend and I almost forgot to get her to sign my shirt. And
my
I
God.
was like, oh no. And then I went over and she only had a purple Sharpie, and the purple shows up really well on the shirt, actually.
Okay, good to know.
Just so you know. And her name was on there. That was in, oh gosh, what was the first one? 2023. So she was on there twice and she signed both spots.
Oh,
Bless
I love
her. I love her so much. It was so nice to finally like meet her in person after, God, what has it been?
Years.
Like a decade?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
feels like it. My goodness. So, anyways, head to our merch store, get some cute merch because it's fun times. Then, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, suggestions, design ideas you want to tell us that we're pretty, we will accept all of
We'll
that.
take it.
in our inbox, theincoherentfangirl@gmail.com. We love hearing from y'all. And of course, one last way to support the podcast is to rate and review on whatever platform you're listening to us on. Give us your
Give
words. We
us
love
those
words.
words.
We are very good words people, okay? So give us all the
Yes.
words. She is at Mandy Perv on all the things.
She's at Ms. Made in China on all the things.
And once you followed us on social media and you follow the podcast on social media, you can head over and visit our internet besties and do some self-care because we love you and want you to stick around forever, okay?
Yes.
So first up, you're going to go to herecomesthenerd.com, add some pins and artsy goodies to your cart, and then add code FANGIRL to get 20% off your first order.
Then you're going to head to onceuponabookclub.com. You're going to get lots of things. You can subscribe, you can get old boxes, whatever you want, but you're going to use code Karen10 to get 10% off. But if you don't spell Karen right, you'll never have chocolate again.
Oh no.
God. Ever.
Oh, that just hurt my soul.
And you'll get
Ugh.
0% off.
That's awful. That's awful.
Yeah.
Okay. Spell my name right. Then you're going to go visit our friend Amber D. Lewis at amberdlewis.com. Her latest novel is out now. Yay! So you can add that in addition to like everything else in the store. Add 10, 20, 100 of everything. Why not? Because you have a code, fangirl10, and you'll get 10% off all of that, which I'm pretty sure means you've saved a ton of money and gotten stuff for free.
Yeah.
So you're welcome.
And last but not least, you can support my family. You can follow the show husband at Borna Josh on all the things. You can follow at Searchers Believe. That's his paranormal investigation group. If you go to searchersbelieve.com/shop and get some merch, also designed by yours truly. If you use code FANGIRL10, you'll get 10% off. You can follow at Searchers Podcast. That's our spooky stuff podcast. And then Stream Beacon TV. That is our streaming platform, paranormal horror, true crime content. I can hear him downstairs right now scheduling probably the biggest thing we've ever done. So very exciting. I've taken over the social media, so really go give it some love because I am now the Beacon social media manager. So we need it. We need to show these guys who's actually the boss. And if you want to subscribe, streambeacontv.com, use code fangirl10 for 10% off. Last but not least, you can't really see it, but I wrote a book. Karen has it. Yay! It's called The Living and the Dead. It's about a girl who was born a ghost and ages like the living, and the Reaper who would die to get her to look at him. I think it's pretty okay, if I do say so myself.
Pretty wonderful.
It got a really good review that made me cry.
It has been endorsed by New York Times bestseller Hannah Nicole Mayer.
This is true. It's been read by her. She has a copy. Yeah. So if you'd like a copy, I'm on all the major websites. But if you want a signed and autographed copy by me and my co-author, George Bailey, the show dog, head to aepurvis.com/shop and use code Aaron Warner to get 10% off because it would not be me if I didn't make something about Aaron Warner.
Facts.
And that
was the Incoherent Fangirl. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. We love you.
Bye.
Bye.
We are sponsored by our friends at Here Comes the Nerd. Pins, stickers, magnets, and more. Here Comes the Nerd has happy art for all fandom-loving hearts. New customers can use coupon code FANGIRL during checkout for 20% off their first order at herecomesthenerd.com. Coupon applies to ready-to-ship items only.